Hola Lola, it's this.
Hi, everybody.
Come on, Jen, get it together. Woohoo! So, this was like our slowest week in between guest weeks that we have had since the start of the season.
Yep.
And by slow, I mean it wasn't like slow, but what I mean is the Wranglers actually got 2 days off in a row.
Yes.
And then an extra half day, kind of spiced, added the spice mix.
Yeah. I think we were just super efficient and we planned really well. Like Des had us in the tack room for a little plan for the week. And I think because we were able to really line out what we had to get done, everything just went a lot smoother in there for quicker. So that was
No, these
good.
guys work their freaking butts off. I want to give them time off whenever I can. So, anyways, after the days off this week, we had the goal of trying to get as many cattle off of pier, moved through Ferguson, and then into our 420 pasture. That's, by the way, you guys named for how many acres the pasture is. Just in case you had a question on it. And so the first day we got 98 head.
And I mean, those suckers, we moved them all together. It was not in two groups, everybody together.
Well, it kind of worked out because it was Noah, Jen, Sammy, Brenda,
Katie.
They kind of went up from Randy's Road, and then they saw a bunch. And then me and Liz and Lainey came up past the cabin, up the North Spur, and got a bunch on the face. So we were pushing those. Anyways, they both of the groups kind of converged around Shane's Road. And then, so we pushed our cattle down to theirs at the bottom of Shane's Road on Road 1. And then kind of trotted back up. And then there was like 12 more at the water tank, or at Shane's Pond. And so we pushed those back down. And they kind of hustled down to their group. And then I was like, crap, there's so many. Like, we can't screw this up. No. Getting some lost in Ferguson, and above that, not having an accurate count. So we really had to kind of set it up just right, because on either side of the gate from Pier into Ferguson, that's kind of the spot I was worried about, because there's some really steep, dark, murky trails on either side of it
that have water in them, so they want to go there. So
they're a draw for the cattle. So but we got her done with Cha-Cha's help. And then the next day we went out a tad bit earlier, same crew except for Joy joined us. She was with me, and we got 7 from
off of the face right below, on the west facing side right below Shane's Pond. So we had to take them up and over.
Yeah, and then so they took theirs because we weren't really seeing much. Joy and I had already gone to quite a few of the hot spots. And then as they were taking them, Sammy and Katie found 28 of them by Allie's Point. So we got those. By the time we got them to Road 3, those guys were coming back, and so we got them all through. So now we're just out 37.
Which is a good number.
Which is, that'll be really nice for our guests this week. There's going to be a lot of cattle work, because we got to be gathering the 37, and then we got to be checking on all the others that are in the 420. So lots of riding outside, which is really awesome because the weather is primo. It is green and sunny, low 80s, high 70s. It's like you can't get it more perfect.
And
right now.
My gosh, Pier Mountain almost looks like there weren't even cattle on it. That is how much grass there is up there.
Yeah, hardly looks like they even touched it.
Which is crazy, because we had them on there for what, 2 weeks? A little over 2 weeks?
Yeah, about 2 weeks. And so that's, that was kind of our goal, Shane's goal, because he wanted there to be still plenty of feed up there for the wildlife. It's kind of elk heaven up there is what he calls it. So that will be slick come
And
fall.
with the tall grass too, we're starting to see fawns and a bunch of the mama deer out in the meadows. And Des, what did you see?
Well, true to the timing, it's almost like
Clockwork.
100% of the time, the first fawn that somebody sees is on June 5th. And that's what happened this year. Joy saw one on June 5th, and one other person did. I can't remember who, but and then I was with Dylan. We had to go check some stuff on fence the other day, and I saw my first ever muley fawn, which was really cool. And it was actually kind of spooky because Dylan was getting our gates up the Ferguson Trail, and the fawn was literally right there in the brush on the other side of the gates. And that mama was like pissed. She was ready to attack Dylan. He got the gates as fast as he could, jumped in. She was not happy that he was close to her baby.
That's funny.
So that was pretty much our week, you guys.
Yeah. And then you've been kind of working, getting those maybe A- string guest horses kind of with the A+ program and getting those suckers legged up.
I've been getting them legged up in here, and then I used several of them out on pier with the Wranglers riding them. Just, you got to check them out in all the spots, and that's the test when we're taking those cattle off of pier, because we're taking them, they're not near other horses, they're in some nasty brush. Like it's definitely just checking all the boxes. And then what I had the Wranglers do each day on the way home, everybody took their horse a different way home, just so that they were just totally good being independent, yada yada. So that was good stuff. I forgot Sammy and Noah also shod, was it like 10 horses this week?
Yeah, something like that. Getting through some of those older retired horses, so we
Yeah.
have a little less at the end of this week. Because right as guests leave, Tommy comes, and we start getting everybody. It's a full reset week, so we're putting all new shoes on everybody. So a little time consuming, but it'll be a good learning experience.
Yeah, but it'll be a little bit nicer because Tommy does all of our personal horses. These guys finish them, but he does the most of it. And so minus all the ones that he does, they've just got 50 horses, which I'm saying just. That's still a lot, but we've got pretty big crew now of people.
A lot of hands.
Lots of people now learning to shoe. Everybody, except I'm not doing it anymore for a while because I'm usually having to ride through ponies. So, what do I have? Yeah, Jen, I was going to ask you, what did you learn in the horsemanship this week with all of your rides? What'd you get out of this week?
Well, for one, I got a lot out of riding outside, which is a lot to talk about. But I'll go kind of one of the biggest lessons in the arena this week was Shane came in and rode for a little bit on his two horses, and you know how things go where he sets out on a mission to kind of ride through his horses, but then he comes across something, and then we get to benefit from that in a lesson form. And he was talking about a lot about seat position and actually feet position as well, and how that really translates to this thing that you hear us yapping about a ton in the arena and working on constantly, of this fast walk and life at the fast walk, or life at the walk, and how most people don't spend enough time really digging into that fast walk and how to get it and maintain it, and the importance of it as well. So, and how it's so important to have so that you could build on really clean, lively transitions from the walk to the trot, from the trot to the canter, back down. Yeah, and that was really neat because he took the time to just kind of talk about, one, what your feet and your seat position, how that even correlates to even achieving the fast walk, and using your legs properly. But he kind of went into all of that, and then we got to see through his ride, and then Des riding through some of the guest horses as well, how that translates to their ability to get soft. and how everything is so connected. And obviously that's the snippet-sized version of it. But that was really neat just for him to take the time of talking about life and the fast walk, but he also is talking about it in regards to lateral movements and not just a fast walk on a straight line, but how that translates to life and the rest of your movements as well. So
you said you were going to tell him about outside.
Oh, yeah. And then outside, what Des was saying of, she gave us the assignment of coming home a different way, separate from the other horses, because there is something to be said about, obviously you're constantly coming to the herd and leaving the herd when you're with cattle to stay in position, but for the most part you're kind of within earshot. But to completely leave separate and them knowing that they're kind of heading home because they always know where home is, but also not being able to see or hear another horse and really,
it's thick out there, you guys.
Yeah.
It's not open prairie like.
Oh, I can see my buddy. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like sucked in by.
Yeah, and there's lots of smells. There's lots of noises. You got to think they're picking up on everything around them.
Bears, lions, grouse, cattle.
Fences popping if we have fence down. But a few weeks ago when we rode out with Shane to move cattle onto pier, he was talking about an exercise of really just getting your horse with you and on the way home and being able to pick the rate of every step when you're coming home. And so that was a huge piece of learning for me of how can I really get them with me coming home. And of course I got lots of practice with a good soft feel to kind of help in moments where they were to want to scream for their buddies or anything like that. But just all of these things, all of these assignments were given and we work on inside the arena. It's really neat to see getting your body and your legs in the game, because the assignment that Shane gave us that one day when we were out was being able, to choose your rate of how fast or slow you walk home every step of the way going home, but also can you stop and back them off your body without picking up on the reins. That's a true kind of test of, are they with you on the way home? Because they're wanting to either, especially if they're alone, find a friend, or they typically have a pretty good walk going home because they're wanting to get there. But just exploring all of that, but maintaining rhythm and rate and direction and straightness and all of those things, because I found often my horse was he had a harder time staying straight. I realized how much I overmanage with my hands and my legs aren't necessarily in the game enough. So just really cool to put all those pieces together and have the time to work on it as we were riding out.
Well, and that's the thing that is so unique about here. For a guest that comes out, obviously for us as wranglers, it's an incredible experience for everybody, but it's just the whole package. And a lot of people, and my goodness, our demographic has just changed so much. So many people, I mean, we interview them. They've got to check all the boxes in order to come out. You got to really be interested in horsemanship and learning, specifically learning the Buck Brannaman style of horsemanship in such a dynamic setting. But so many people, when they come and they work on horsemanship, they just kind of want to hang out in the arena. And they're kind of cheating themselves by doing that, because truly, until you get out of the arena and you have to do a job on a horse, you don't really know what you've got going on. And you don't know what you're missing that you need to do more of when you're back in the arena. So the whole thing is just...
it's constant feedback.
Yeah, and it's preparation in here, and then get your feedback outside. See how many things correlate. See what changes. Maybe your seat position changes. Maybe you're kind of anxious. It's making a more complete rider. Mm-hmm. We have complete horses, and we want to help you achieve, yourself as a complete rider. Yeah. And that is the thing, because we've got the arena, we've got hundreds of acres of wilderness.
And to explore too, like that's the neat thing, is you kind of get to double down on it as when you get your bearings, if you have to explore, but you're also doing a job of, like what Des was saying, of cattle have to be checked, mineral and water has to be checked.
Yeah, and we don't just ride out
No,
and
for funsies.
horsemanship goes to the wayside.
Yeah.
There's literally it, and I was telling this to Jen earlier. I said, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I get more tired throughout the weeks than I used to in some ways, but I'm not physically tired. I'm just mentally so trying to bear down on just all the slightest little things. What am I feeling? How can I address this or that? It's not like if one thing fails, you're a failure. You just redirect. Let's try this. Let's try that. Let's try something I've never done before. and adjusting to fit the horse rather than a lot of people think a horse needs to adjust to them. But then you won't be able to get along with very many horses.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work that way.
And that's something that was a part of Shane's lesson, too, of and this reminded me of it, of there's no better place to figure out how to walk one out and how to get one soft than outside. Like, you're still aware, you still have a job to do, but what an opportunity, because you do have to cover country to kind of just take a lot of your time to focus on how can I stay up there? What am I doing with my seat? What am I doing with my hands? That's what reminded me of that, of you have a lot of time to work on stuff out there. A lot of time.
I was thinking of yesterday, Jen. We were riding out and Jen, she's like, oh my gosh, the sky, look at the sky. It's so beautiful. And I said, Jen, are you trying to brag that you're finally not looking down?
It was beautiful though. That was funny.
But that's our thoughts for this week. I do need to make a correction on one of my previous Highlines from a couple weeks ago. I had a brain fart and I was calling Davis Peak Davis Mountain, where we found those four head.
Oh yeah.
It was Davis Mountain, which is right next to Shane's Mountain. Davis.
Other way around. It was Davis Peak.
Yeah.
It was Davis Peak, Davis Mountain. I know some of our guests have helped us gather, which is the one kind of towards the end of the season, our final hurrah.
I'm dyslexic,
the big one.
You guys.
It's okay. It's all in the same general area.
Davis A, Davis B.
It's honestly more confusing. But yeah, we're excited for our next group of guests and the beautiful weather and lots to do, and I'm sure there'll be lots of an update next weekend. But
yeah, hopefully we find them all. Oh, and then we're gonna probably brand our wild steer, who seems like he's settled.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Then we're complete, 100%.
Don't say that yet. We still have.
Okay, you guys, we'll crap snap at you next week.
Have a good week.
Bye.